enamelled. If I was more intelligent, I would probably be able to guess, but I can't. But someone who is arguably more intelligent than me is Dom, otherwise known as AngryBritain on Twitter. Is it at AngryBritain, Dom?
It is. Morning.
Hello. Good morning. How angry are you right now?
Apoplectic this morning.
Why, particularly?
Just this delete Facebook nonsense. What's that all about?
Well, people are deleting Facebook, or they're certainly researching how to delete Facebook, because let's face it, it's about as difficult as rewiring a full Cortina to actually delete your Facebook.
Good. Let's have to get on with it, eh?
Yeah, well...
stupid cat pictures and holiday pictures, and my God.
Yeah, well...
What did people think when they were signing up for Facebook, Andy? Seriously, what are they thinking?
Well, it was years ago for a lot of people. Well, it was years ago for a lot of people, Dom. When I signed up for Facebook, I thought I was signing up for people kind of putting jokes up there and interesting pictures. I didn't think I was going to be seeing their breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I didn't think I was going to be seeing them going on disgusting rants, and I didn't think I was going to be seeing dogs with maggots being pushed out of their skin, just to name some of the things I hate about Facebook.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the stuff other people put up. It's like, imagine living in a house where every time you look out the window, they're holding some disgusting picture in front of it, or they're having a fight, or they're swearing at you. That's the Facebook experience from my point of view sometimes.
Yeah, and telling you you're wrong, obviously.
And telling me I'm wrong and that I'm a misogynist and enamelled.
And that you're a deep bro, yeah, that's it.
What's it? I'm a deep bro enamelled. What is enamelled, do you know?
I haven't got a clue, don't care.
Well, I'm very thin-skinned, as you can tell, so...
Yeah, you need to toughen up a bit if you can do this show, I think.
So I'm trying to get this straight, Dom. Are you angry that people are deleting Facebook? Or are you angry at Facebook?
I'm just angry at just the hashtag in general. It's just a nonsense. It's another one of these stupid hashtags doing the round that's going to cure everything. Mm-hmm. It's hashtag cures all, doesn't it, these days?
What's it called? Virtue signaling.
Yeah, exactly, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, right, you've got people going delete Facebook and being all angry about it, and then posting it on Facebook about how angry they are. I mean, how stupid is that? It's not ironic at all, is it?
That's true. A lot of people... Do you know, I see a lot of people saying, I'm going to go through and delete a lot of my friends. If you don't like this post and say hello, or if you don't say your favourite memory of me, or describe my buttocks in a GIF, then I'm going to delete you as my friend. And
good.
Well, they clearly don't. Well, they clearly don't, do they? It's attention
seeking, isn't it?
Sure.
Most Facebook users are massive attention seekers, aren't they? Let's be honest. They are. Look at my dog. Look at my baby poo or something like that.
Yeah. Says the man last week who tweeted me pictures of his dog like 3 times with a rude word scrawled across it.
You were rude about my dog, Andy. Dog's got rights.
Yeah, well,
as well as a man bro, or whatever you are.
I merely suggested that your dog might be a breed that has breathing difficulties, but I know that makes you very angry when people suggest that. Are you saying that you never? Are you saying that you never put? Are you saying that you never put a picture of your dog on Facebook?
I put lots of pictures of my dog on Facebook.
Well, there we are. Then you're guilty.
I'm an attention seeker. Why do you think I run my website, Andy? The whole point is attention seeking, isn't it?
So at least you own it.
Yeah, I own it. I'm not shy about it. But let's be honest, this delete Facebook thing and like being marketed to, it's like walking into a McDonald's, isn't it? Eating a free beef burger and expecting them not to try and sell you fries. It's bonkers, isn't it? Don't you think?
George is nodding.
The logic behind it.
Georgia, the producer, is nodding to that analogy.
How dumb must you be?
I was trying to work my way around to it, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm just thinking of burgers because it's nearly...
You've had a tough night.
I have, Dom. So you're not about to delete your Facebook anytime soon because you need someone to post pictures of your dog. Do people even like them?
I'm not going to delete, so I just don't care enough.
Right. Well, then why, if you don't care, why does it make you angry that people are talking about deleting it? Because they do have a point. I think they have a point. I think they have a point. I've said before, and I'll say this now, I do the hashtag show partly because I find it fascinating as a journalist and a human being watching what people say, and it keeps me in tune with what people are thinking about things, and I do find that fascinating. But do I sometimes find it a little bit depressing? Yes, I do. Yes, sometimes I find it depressing. Sometimes I think if I woke up in the morning and didn't look at Facebook, I'd probably be a happier man by midday.
You would be.
Stay
minutes, I would have thought.
Stay there, Dom, because I can't wait to hear what else you're angry about. We'll be back in a second.
I've decided to cancel the world nuclear war in favor of a world trade war. It's less paperwork in the long run, that I can tell you.
If you're a fan of Crystal Palace, check out Love Sport tonight from 7.
Was Fossey Mensah still the right choice for you?
If everyone was available, I wouldn't play Fossey Mensah centre-back. His decision-making and his aerial abilities doesn't make him a centre-back right now. His pace to run back and his tackling abilities make him a super right-back. I think in the future he can be a very good centre-back.
The Crystal Palace Fan Show with 7otb.com on Love Sport.
You still there, Dom?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You haven't slammed the phone down in some kind of rage?
Not yet.
Not yet. So that's Facebook. That's Facebook covered. You're not deleting Facebook, and anyone who says they're going to delete Facebook, I suppose you're saying they should actually just delete it and not say anything. But they have to let people know.
Oh, no, yeah, obviously you have to make a goodbye post and have another little tantrum before you drop off and come back 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
Dog picture.
What else? Go on then. What else you annoyed about then on social media?
Have you seen that? Oh, yeah, well, talking of your Man Friday thing tonight,
yeah.
Have you seen the new Lenore advert?
The new Lenore advert? I don't think so. Why?
You're very lucky.
Uh-huh.
Right, so, to summarise,
yeah.
Pretty girl running around a forest after a wolf.
Pretty girl,
At the end of the advert, the wolf changes into a man who looks uncannily like Wolverine. Okay, she then walks up to him and strips him naked. But that's fine.
Right.
That's absolutely fine advertising, Andy. That is, apparently, that's absolutely fine. Just like the Diet Coke man. No double standards there at all. Can you imagine that the other way around?
Well, let's think this through, Dom. Let's think this through. What would that be the other way around? So we have a man walking through the forest, and he sees...
Running through a forest, chasing a woman. Yeah, that's right. And when he catches her, he strips her naked.
But you're getting ahead of me now. You're getting ahead of me. I want to unpick this carefully to actually find out whether or not you have a point, okay? So the opposite way round from the advert would be a man going through the forest and he sees like a deer or something. He's being chased by...
Well, let's say a fox, shall we, Andy? If we're going to be completely sexist about it tonight.
Right, he's being chased by a fox. A vixen, in fact.
Vixen.
Yeah. And a male fox is called?
Oh, I don't know, Steve.
A dog. Anyway. Take from that what you will. So he's being chased around by a vixen. Yeah? And then they stop. And the vixen turns into a beautiful woman. Oh, no. He then takes the fur off.
Oh, no. She turns into a beautiful woman first.
Right.
Sort of like half naked anyway.
And then he undresses her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a picture of some like cleaning solution hitting a basket. So that's,
Is that as suggestive on TV as you make it sound?
Oh, yeah, it's far. Actually, do you know what? It is that suggestive. Yeah, completely. It's bizarre.
So
absolutely bizarre.
Well, it does sound bizarre, but I actually have to say, I think if there were an advert like that, then actually you're right. It would. It absolutely would cause a lot of consternation because it's objectifying a woman for a start. I mean,
absolutely.
What it comes back to, you see, I've got to try and put on a different hat now, right? What it comes back to, though, is a woman appreciating male beauty in an advert is not born of the same societal norms. God, I sound like Jermaine Greer now. As a man objectifying a woman, that we come from a culture where for a long time men have objectified women and denigrated women and put women in a position of weakness. And so therefore that's why that's offensive and the other way round isn't, because it doesn't have that culture swinging around it as a vortex where men are sexually abused.
But they are. But we don't hear about that. And that's the whole problem with this whole noise that we're hearing at the moment about, it's bad to do this and it's bad to do that. There's two sides to every story. And, there's so many double standards.
Well, it
drives me mental.
Yeah, I work with a charity. I'm patron of a charity called Survivors UK, which certainly doesn't in any way belittle female victims of sexual violence in any way, but what it does do is it offers help and support to male victims of sexual violence. There might be guys who have been victims at the hands of other guys. It is also men who've been victim of abuse, sexual and otherwise, at the hands of do exist, and they do feel as though they can't talk about it because there's this kind of eye-rolling, sneering. You can't say that on the part of largely women. Now, I think that when we talk about issues of sexual abuse, you're talking to understand it truly. Sorry, Dom, I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but this is something close to my own heart. To understand abuse, it's about power. That's anyone who works in this field will tell you that when a rape is committed, it's not about sexual gratification, it's about power. And you have to understand it on an individual basis. It's that individual's desire for power. Now, if you're going to take it on an individual's basis, then a man suffering abuse because the other person wants power is as valid, surely, as a woman. And that's not to say that it happens as often for men as it does for women. It almost certainly doesn't. But that doesn't mean that men shouldn't be able to talk about it.
Totally agree. And I think the problem is there's so much noise from like the rampant Man Friday brigade that argument gets completely lost in the noise. And
maybe we haven't listened for such a long time that the kind of cap has blown, the fuse has blown. Maybe we as men have not been listening and have been kind of arrogant and not really taking it seriously enough for such a long time that the conversation has become so angry so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get the reaction like you've had tonight, which is
maybe
crazy.
Well, I would say it's not crazy. I would say that there's a lot of anger there, and I think that when people are angry, as Hannah herself admitted, when you're angry on Twitter and things, you can write things that you don't necessarily mean, and they're not very carefully couched. I think a lot of the tweets I'm getting tonight are by people who feel very angry, but in anger...
Oh, you'll get many more, trust me.
In anger, you can also generalise, and you can be clumsy in your language, and you can express prejudice, and that doesn't help because that leads to more anger on the other side. As a journalist who worked in Northern Ireland for 4 years, I saw that at play. You just end up in a tit for tat. And wouldn't it be better, actually, for us to say, do you know what? Most men are not aggressive, and most men are no threat to women, and women don't have to be scared of the vast, overwhelming majority of men.
Absolutely, and that doesn't make any misogynist at all, I don't think. Not at all.
Well, you know, we're not here to debate whether I'm a misogynist or not. Fair enough. If you think I am, then that's fair enough. That's your opinion. But going back to things that make you angry, because everyone I've talked to, I've gone back to this subject because I genuinely find it fascinating, and I do think it's the big thing of our time that we need to just sort out, so it's important we talk about it. But George has pinged up on my screen here that you're angry at winter. So just short and sweet, in a nutshell, why on earth, in a social media context, are you angry at the season winter?
Because it's like nearly the end of March and it's just finished snowing. Now, it probably doesn't help that I live at the seaside, which is cold anyway, but isn't it about time it just did one and let spring come through? I mean, I'm really, really bored of dressing up like a polar explorer to walk the dog.
You can't be angry at the weather.
Needs to stop. Of course you can.
Well, what's the point of being angry at the weather? What are you going to do about it, Blow?
I'm going to go outside and shout a lot. It sorts itself out.
Shout at the clouds. Your neighbours already think you're mad.
Yeah, they do anyway.
Yeah, well, where is it you live?
I'm down at Teesside in Herne Bay.
Okay, you're on the coast, well that explains it. I mean, I was going to say, I can't talk about people in the Hebrides or people in Belfast, which is always Baltic, as they say there. I don't know where it's like you. It's quite warm in London today, and I'm going to say that with all the smuggery that it deserves. In London today, it was actually quite clement.
Not having that. Obviously, it was just cold and miserable down here.
So you just need to come, if you want the end of winter, just come to London for a couple of days.
Yeah, but that involves actually coming to London, doesn't it?
It does, fortunately.
That's a subject for a whole other night, that is.
Well, maybe next week you can tell it. Maybe you should come to London during the week, and then you can make notes as to exactly what makes you angry about London. There are enough things that make me.
You can buy me lunch.
No, we'll go halves. You'll be angry about that too. Well, they call that going Dutch, don't they?
Oh, talking of the Dutch, should we end on a lighter note?
Go on then.
Guess what I've just read in the paper?
What have you just read in the paper?
Brilliant. Right, the new blue passports are going to be made by a European firm, and as it happens, a Dutch firm. You couldn't make it up, could you?
Is that right? Is that true? I need to look at that.
That is a fact. Yeah, that is in the paper this morning.
Well,
we are going to give the contract to make the new British passport to a European country.
Do you know, I've always said AngryBritain, at AngryBritain, since the news about the blue passports, we're all going to be stood, aren't we, desperate to get back home in the long queues on our holidays, thinking, well, do you know what, it doesn't matter because our passports are blue. Thank you, Dom, very much for talking to us. We'll talk to Dom again next week about the things that have made him angry. That's it. That's all you need to know about what he's talking about. He will be back next week. In a second, I'm going to be talking to a guy in Texas who's got something to say about how much we drink on St. Patrick's Day, straight after this.
I have to tell you, LBC presenters, losers, oxygen thieves, really.